just a small little group of us today. So let's get it going. We'll ask some questions. First, a couple of announcements just to kick off. I'm actually see Anthony on here. Anthony, you want to talk about our agent equity program and our brand ambassador program at HomeSmart?
You've never heard of it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Sorry, I'm driving. So yeah, hello, good morning, everyone. If you don't know me, my name's Anthony. I'm the senior recruiter for the Florida market. So like Freddie mentioned, a couple programs going on to refer agents. Refer 3's been going on and continues to go on, where you refer 3 agents, and then pretty much HomeSmart covers your dues for an entire year. Also, what's fairly new is our agent equity program. If you haven't heard about that, I would go to HomeSmart.com. There's an option there that says equity. And I'm sure Freddie could probably go a little bit more depth in it, but pretty simple. Every agent you refer, you earn some type of equity in the company. So not only do we want your help in building up the brand and recruiting agents, maybe people you've worked with, people you've done transactions with, we're also offering incentives with the Refer 3 in the equity program. But definitely a good time to get the word out there. We're not asking you to do it for free. You just get some from it as well.
Thanks, Anthony. So the Refer 3 is basically a $300 credit for referring 3 agents, where you can actually use it towards your monthly dues. You can use it toward a transaction. You can use it in the marketing design center, whatever it is. Your account will be credited if you refer 3 agents. We want you to be a brand ambassador for real estate agents to the HomeSmart brand. There's no minimum transactions, no extra fees, no cap on individual earning potential, and you can earn up to $8,350 stock referral.
Both programs. So it's not, you have to pick one or the other. So whatever agents you refer, you still get, like Freddie mentioned, that $300 credit for every 3, or that credit for every 3 agents. But then you're also eligible for the equity program at the same time.
Correct. And you have to sign up for the program. Otherwise, you will not get credit for that agent. All right. So make sure you sign up for the program. Right here on the bottom of the page, it'll say sign up now. And you click on that and it will take you to a sign up page. Okay. And then we will reach out to you. I believe agent services reaches out, or someone. We'll get back to you. All right. Any questions? Any questions on this?
No, I just want to say Janice had signed up for this, and it took a minute, like, maybe a couple, 2-3 days or something like that. But then we got a DocuSign from Ashley Bowers for the sign up, and it was a thing, and signed, initialed, and it was super simple to sign up for. Didn't cost anything. So it's, we were happy about it.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything. And actually, like it says, you can make money for each agent you refer. All right, any questions on that? All right, next announcement. Tomorrow we have a branch lunch. So for those of you that are out in the Tampa Seminole area, we are going to be out at Miller's Ale House in Seminole, Florida. For those that you don't know, Seminole, Florida is out by Clearwater, next to Clearwater, next to St. Pete, and next to Tampa. So we've kind of combined the Tampa branch and the Seminole branch for the lunches. And we're gonna, since last month we were out in June, we were out in Tampa. This month we're gonna go out by Seminole and visit our agents in that area. So if you guys are in the area, come by, stop by for lunch. Miller's Ale House in Seminole, Florida. And that starts at 11:30, and we'll be there till about 1:30. So come by if you're in the area. Another announcement is, where is my calendar? Hold on one second. All right, so calendar, I don't know how many of you have been participating in the Drive to 5 that Todd Sumney is putting on. Tomorrow is another segment, and you have the 2 segments, which are tomorrow and Friday. You have one at 12, which is the Roadmap to Success, and well, they're both called Roadmap to Success, but they both have different avenues of Drive to 5. If you're doing both, that's fine. But tomorrow, 12 p.m. Actually, wait, hold on one second. Drive to 5. I'm in July. Yeah, here we go. Tomorrow, 12 p.m. No, sorry, next week at 12 p.m. So next week at 12 p.m. right here. There we go. That's August 4th. So August 4th, next week, 12 p.m. And then you have the other one at 2 p.m. on August 4th as well. So for those of you that don't know, this calendar is available in your Real Smart Agent account. This is a calendar of events and trainings and classes and courses and all that stuff. If you notice here, our Tampa Seminole office is in here. The branch lunch tomorrow. Orientation for those of you that have not taken it. The Drive to 5, everything is right here. And you don't even have to log into your Real Smart Agent to access this calendar. If you just go to HomeSmart, type in HomeSmartCalendar.com. Oops, if I could spell, sorry. It will take you right to your calendar without having to log into RSA. Okay? So just a heads up on that. So join us tomorrow. If you're out in the area, come by, have some lunch with us. What other announcements do we have? Jeremy, anything that you want to touch on before we get into this training?
I just want to add to what you're saying. If you click on the individual, like, Drive to 5 thing, it'll tell you, what they're going to cover. I think August 4th is the CRM database secrets.
Yep, that's
So
what it says, CRM database secrets.
Yeah, each Drive to 5 is, geared towards a certain part of your business. So don't think like, oh, I've already attended that Drive to 5, I don't need to attend this one, or whatever the case may be. They're all different, and they're all meant to be, continuing education, not to be confused with CE or continuing education for your license or anything like that. It's continuing education as an agent to, cultivate you and make you a better, stronger, faster, more powerful, leap single buildings in a single bound kind of agent.
So yeah, if you notice here, so tomorrow, on August 4th, you have the Drive to 5, which is the one that Jeremy mentioned, the CRM database secrets. You see it right here. Drive to 5. And then at 4 o'clock on the same day, you have the other segment, which is Marketplace Kickoff. Okay. And this is telling you about tools and stuff that are available to you for that Drive to 5. So join it. These are all recorded as well. So you can go back into your RSA account and look at these if you've missed any. All right, let's move on. So today's topic is actually one that's happening in today's market. It has to do with offers and buyers' offers. And the one we're actually going to be talking about is, we can cover all of these, but I wanted to talk about the buyer love letter. For those of you that don't know what a buyer love letter is, it's when you put or the buyer wants to submit a letter to the seller, telling them, how interested they are in the home. They would love their offer to be accepted. And that's been a common practice as of late, but you guys need to be careful with this. This is something that I do not recommend any of you do. And you should try to shy your buyers away from trying to do this, because you can get yourself in an ethics complaint. and it is an ethics violation. So if you word specific things in that letter, it could be a Fair Housing Act, violation. Okay, so real quick, basically, realtors should not deny equal professional services to any person for reasons of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity. Realtors should not be parties to any plan or agreement to discriminate against a person or persons on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity. In this current climate of low inventory, we're very aware of, and bidding wars, some buyers have resorted to writing what they call, in quotations, a love letter to the seller explaining why the seller should choose their offer. This has become a hot button or an issue considering the activity in the market, says Masterson, who has served on the Grievance and Professional Standards Committee. Realtors have been sending these letters written by their client to try to create an emotional connection to the contract. But Florida Realtors Legal Counsel has advised that this opens the door to possible discrimination violations. That makes sense? You guys kind of getting the picture of this? Moreover, these letters often reveal personal information deemed protected characteristics under the U.S. Fair Housing Act, such as familial status, race, or religion. Revealing protected characteristics could inadvertently cause discrimination for or against a person for reasons of race, color, sex, religion, handicap, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, and gender. The code of ethics applies to every transaction and should be followed every day by every realtor, Bauer says. It's more important now than ever that realtors really have to hold tight to it and not vary just because they might be able to get more money, Masterson adds. Realtors need to look at themselves as ambassadors of the industry. If you understand the do's and don'ts that have been laid out in the code of ethics, then you have better likelihood of conducting yourself in a professional way. So what does this mean? There's actual, if you start mentioning, and if you just Google it, actually, wait, hold on 1 second. Here we go. I have an article here which explains why it may violate the Fair Housing Act. So let's get a little bit into that. The Fair Housing Act protects individuals from discrimination when buying or renting a home, getting a mortgage, or obtaining housing assistance. The law prohibits discrimination based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, and disability. When writing personal letters, potential home buyers often identify who will be living in the home and provide other details that can trigger a fair housing law violation, said Trevor Harpin, owner of Harpin Real Estate Group in Phoenix, Arizona. Writing letters and creating videos have been popular with home buyers in this area, in his area this year. Most of our buyers have heard that these are great or good tools, but these are actually ways to set yourself apart. And these are ways to really tug at the heartstrings of the seller and make it so that you are standing out in the sea of offers. But most real estate agents have put the brakes on the practice lately. In the Phoenix area, many brokerages put the collective foot down and said, you can no longer write these. These are potentially violations of housing laws, Harpin said. At his brokerage, agents have been instructed not to review any offers that include personal letters and to ask for the offer to be resubmitted without it. So one of these issues I see with the buyer love letters is that could put not only the buyer and the seller in a tough spot legally, but it could also, the real estate professional, us, who allowed it to happen. Should the seller not choose the offer for whatever reason, even if it's not related to the letter, the home buyer could consider that as discrimination on the seller's part. Though he said proving discrimination in these cases would likely be difficult since sellers have the right to refuse an offer on any home for any reason, Still, the National Association of Realtors issued guidance on the 2020 guidance in 2020 about the potential liability of love letters and urged real estate agents to avoid helping their clients craft and deliver them. The Department of Housing and Urban Development also says fines for fair housing violations start at $16,000. So leave out personal details if you're set on sending a letter. I recommend not doing a letter and talking to your buyer and or your seller about it, or not your seller, but talking to your buyer about it. Say, hey, listen, we can get ourselves in trouble here. But let's read on. Not everyone agrees the buyer letters are problematic. A real estate broker in Sagan at Sotheby's International in Massachusetts, blah, 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 said he doesn't use it as home buying strategy, but also doesn't discourage buyers from writing letters. It depends on the situation, he says. When it comes to writing a letter, some people feel strongly that they want to express themselves. There's room for style in real estate transactions, and I think the buyer would want to express themselves. That's great. However, Dolan encourages buyers to avoid revealing personal details about race, familial status, and other classes protected by the Fair Housing Act. So the most effective letters focus on potential buyers' connection to a specific aspect of the property. Letters make an impression on some sellers, but not everyone. Some sellers like to know that they're not selling the home to a developer who might knock it down and build something new. So some love letters making it clear that the buyer intends to live there can help their offer stand out. But the money's got to be there too. At the end of the day, a seller's looking for that best offer. And usually emotions are not attached to it. Sometimes it is. But you need to be careful in what you're writing in there, because if you start saying my children would love to see their Christmas tree, now you're talking religion, now you're talking familial status. So you really need to be careful on these letters, which is why I would encourage all of you to shy away from any buyer trying to present a buyer's letter to a seller. And I would explain these terms to them, saying, look, we could potentially get in real trouble. Not only you, but the seller or myself. And like it says here, in the end, price and terms are what sell homes. For example, offering a price competitive in that market, not asking for repairs, waiving contingencies, paying the difference in a home appraises for lower than the sale price, and giving the seller extra time to move out are always ways to help bids stand out. Communicating agent to agent is more powerful tactic than sending a letter. Harpen said that it creates an opportunity to ask questions about the sellers are looking for, what other offers look like, and what buyers can do to stand out. So you need to be real careful about how you're going to present these letters. If you're going to present these letters, like I said, I encourage you all to get away from this. I don't know if any of you have been in a situation where the buyer wants to present a letter to the seller. Have any of you experienced that? Okay, well, you may.
Yeah, we've done it. I'm sorry, I was trying to unmute. We've done it. I mean, it's always the buyer, what they write up, and we do encourage it. I mean, lately it hasn't been necessary, but obviously when the market was super hot and super competitive, we were doing it a lot. Now, on the other side, on the listing side, I absolutely would not present that love letter to the seller, because obviously it opens them up to, if there's protected classes in there, anything like that, I wouldn't even read it. Personally, I would just be like, nope, I'm not submitting that with the offer, because it could open up, protected classes and this and that, like Freddie was saying, working as a single mother, I moved here from, Venezuela and blah, 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 blah. And, like whatever is in there, it's immaterial, right? I'm just breaking down the offers and saying, here you go. This is the one I recommend because of this. But you can pick whichever offer, or ask for more details or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, and here's an example here. Disclosing that information in a letter isn't always conscious either. If you mention wanting to celebrate Christmas with your family or disclose the pronouns of your spouse, you've already told the seller a lot of information. Plus, letters alone rarely help buyers nab their dream homes. sellers are not looking for these love letters. They're looking for the best price, the best terms, and the best deal for them. So just be careful with these love letters. I recommend staying away from them. As far as the listing side or the buyer side, I would not submit an offer with a love letter. If your buyer's really adamant about it, then I would present this information to the buyer. And I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't present it because it's going to get myself in trouble. So I know the buyer might get upset with you, but there's ways of handling that objective. And the way to handle that objective is to let them know, educate them that this could actually possibly trigger a violation for themselves, for ourselves, or for the seller. And actually, I got a call the other day from an agent in another state, and they presented an offer here in Florida through another real estate brokerage, and they were asking me about a love letter that she sent, and actually the seller took it in the wrong way and rejected her offer. She actually started talking about family in the love letter. This is what she mentioned to me. I never saw a love letter, and she's not one of our agents. But I don't know. She said she had spoken to me a year ago, and now she was thinking about moving here to Florida, and she called me again. But anyway, yeah, she actually thought it was a discrimination against her because she mentioned her family and her nationality. And then she's like, Freddie, is that a Fair Housing Act if the seller refuses my offer because of my love letter? And I'm like, yeah, it might be a Fair Housing Act against you, not against the seller. So just be careful with this. Any questions on this? Okay, so let me talk about some other code ethics violations in this housing market. So 3 ethics violations to guard against during this hot housing market. In the last year, it has seen unprecedented times, from once in a century pandemic to a once in a lifetime real estate market that often pushed ethical boundaries. The National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics and Standards of Practice was created over 100 years ago to guide real estate professionals in how to conduct their business. While the code basics principles have remained largely unchanged, the document is constantly evolving to keep up with the times. Demand for home ownership is at an all-time high, yet inventory is at an all-time low. So multiple offers over asking price, bidding wars, and buyers making offers without realtor representations have become the new normal. Times like these truly test the code of ethics, says Dennis Bowers, principal of Bowers Real Estate Group in Compass in Naples. There can be some real shady situations right now, so it's important for agents to protect themselves and their customers no matter what the scenario is, and stay true to the code of ethics that we have all agreed to abide by. Here are some possible violations. Mishandling multiple offers. When representing a buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, or other client as an agent, realtors pledge themselves to protect and promote the interests of their client. The obligation to the client is primary, but does not relieve realtors of their obligations to treat all parties honestly. When serving a buyer, seller, or landlord, the tenant, or other party in a non-agency capacity, realtors remain obligated to treat all parties honestly. Bowers received an offer the first day he listed a client's $2.3 million home. The next day, before 5 p.m. deadline for acceptance of the offer, he had 7 more showings. One prospect showed up without realtor representation and wanted to make her own offer. Even though he told the woman he wasn't at liberty to disclose the information, she persisted. After 30 minutes, she decided to write a full price offer that was slightly higher than the first offer. So I presented both offers to the owners and asked if they wanted a final and best situation or to select one. The seller chose the full price offer. It may be tempting for some agents to manipulate the outcome of an offer when inventory is historically low. In a multiple offer and over asking situation, it is important for owners to indicate in the listing agreement, checkbox whether you can tell someone if there's another offer. Bauer says, adding that he had his client's permission to reveal prior offers without divulging the amount. And I want to talk about this a little bit. After this, I'll finish this paragraph here. The full price offer won the contract, but I could have easily said we have a higher offer. Or I could have gone back to both parties to make them bid against each other. Our goal as agents is to get the best offer for the customer and to remain ethical. Those who stay true to the customers in the market are the real professionals and are doing business the right way. They will remain in good standing and the market shifts. Some agents are aware that Florida Realtors has their own arsenal. Some has in their arsenal some disclosure documentation that created specifically for us to help our clients in multiple offers, says Richard Message Broker Associates. A disclosure form to send to the other agents that basically protects everyone involved and prevents an agent from being accused of steering and opposed to letting the client choose the best offer. This is addressed in the beginning of Article 1 that says the first and foremost, how to protect the best interest of the client. So multiple offers. First off, as a listing agent, I've always had it a practice of never talking about other offers with buyers or buyer's agents. So in other words, Jeremy is a buyer's agent. I'm the listing agent. Jeremy is calling me, asking me questions if I have another offer. Yeah, sure. I can say I have multiple offers. I can also say I have under asking price, or I can say I have over asking price. What I should not say is what that offer is and what the terms are. You should not be discussing the terms of an offer with another offer. Does that make sense? Jeremy, you want to add something? I saw you on mute.
Oh, I said yes.
Oh,
Makes sense.
yeah. So I would never discuss offers with another offer or another buyer's offer, another agent. And they will try and pry. Well, do you know how much over offer, or how much do I have to come in at to make this happen? You would, and they'd ask that questions in 5 different ways, just trying to get in. So my suggestion is the way I handle that is please have your buyer, listen, I do have multiple offers. They are at or above asking price. So we are asking everyone to put their best foot forward by Tuesday if you're going to do a highest and best at 5 p.m. And that's if you're calling for a highest and best. And you should ask your seller, do you want me to go back and ask for a highest and best? Or do you want to accept these one of these offers? Or do you want to counter one of these offers? So always have the seller make the decision. You are not the seller. You are there to provide the options for the seller and provide the options for the buyer as well. So please, 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 when handling multiple offers, your listing side, and then I want you, as the buyer's agent, I want you to understand the listing side's way of handling this as well. Well, you know what? They're not really going to tell me what, and you might find an agent that'll tell you, hey, you need to come up 5,000. That is not very ethical. So they can get themselves in real trouble. So don't do any of that. Don't ever throw a number in a buyer's mouth or on a contract for them. Let the number come from them. Never do it for a seller either. Let those numbers come from them. If they ask you, well, what should we counter at? Don't ever, ever, ever. You can give a range. Because now it's too high. So don't ever, ever, ever. All you want to do is make recommendations, and you should do that in a range. Okay. So do you want to come in above asking? Do you want to come in below asking? Do you want to come in at asking? Do you want, what else are you asking for?
Brady, what if they ask you about like some of the terms? Well, do you have cash offers? Are they conventional? Is it FHA?
I'm going to ask you, Jeremy, what would you do? If I asked you, you're the listing agent, and I'm asking you, hey, so what kind of offers do you have?
Turning the tables. I like it. I like it. All right. I work on the buy side a lot. typically people don't ask me those questions, but I had this woman recently that, like with our buyer, she wanted no conditions, right? We could do all cash, but with a home sale contingency, which she wasn't willing to take. No financial contingency, no home inspection. And she's like, and she's pressuring us, like, hey, I got another offer coming in. And I'm like, is it all cash? You know, no conditions, no home inspection, no financial. Oh, I can't discuss the terms. And I'm like, all right, so you're full of BS. Okay, got it. So yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what? Everybody, I don't like discussing the terms. I would say, yeah, I have both. I have cash offers and I have, and actually, you're going to say the truth. You're not going to lie and say I have a cash offer and you don't. So, you can disclose whether it's cash or financing. I wouldn't discuss the terms, whether it's conventional, FHA or VA or blah, blah. I wouldn't get into that deep. But you can say, yeah, I do have multiple offers. I do have cash offers and I do have financing offers. And then I wouldn't get into inspections or anything like that. Have your buyer put their best foot forward.
Now, what if the seller comes back and says, hey, I have this, cash offer and maybe a financed offer or something like that. The seller is saying this. Can you counter the cash offer? Because if they come up to, another 5,000 above list price or something like that, if they'd come up another 5,000, then I would take their offer. I mean, in essence, then the seller is countering that offer, right?
Okay, the seller is countering that offer. Well, yeah, but that could raise an ethics also. I mean, if you come up 5,000, I don't know. That's a real touchy subject, Jeremy.
Well, you're saying, all right, if you say, right, to the buyer's agent, hey, if you guys come up another $5,000, you'll get it, right?
Well, I would never do that.
That's a problem. But
that's a big problem.
If there's
Correct.
multiple offers and
because I can go back and say that to every buyer that has an offer on the table. Well, and then now everybody's in what they call a pissing contest, to see whose offer gets accepted. And that could get really ethical when because now you're bidding everybody up. So you're getting everybody to bid up and bid up and bid up. So that can be that's a very fine line. I would never, ever, I would just say best, highest and best, and give them a deadline.
Okay. But like I'm saying, if you bring, you sit down with the seller, you say, hey, Freddie, we listed your property. I got these multiple offers here. One's cash for, just under list price. They're $5,000 under list price. The other one's conventional and it's a full list price offer. Which one do you want to go with? And then you come back to me and say, well, Jeremy, if the cash one would just come up to list price, then I would take it. I mean, that's a counter, right? We could do that.
You mean countering the cash offer? You can counter the cash offer.
Okay.
I wouldn't tell them to come up to list price. I would tell them, would you consider coming up on your purchase price? Because you're kind of steering them. If you can come up to this, if you can come up to that, we can make it happen.
Right, but I mean, that's what the seller is saying to you. So you could say, hey, the seller is countering, right? They have multiple offers. They like your offer, but they want you to come up to list price. If you come up to list price, they'll take your offer. If not, they're going to go with the other offer.
I would be careful how you say that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I would be very careful. That's a delicate subject. I would be very careful. Because you're kind of steering. That makes sense? You're steering a buyer?
Yeah. Well, you're not. Yeah.
And think about it. Then you go back to the conventional offer and you say, hey, can you come up 10 grand to beat the cash offer that's at asking price?
Right. I'm just saying, obviously you can phrase it in different ways, but in essence, I guess
as a listing agent, I would never throw numbers, never, ever, ever. I would say, hey, can you come up? Or can you come up to meet asking price? Or, what is your best? Put your best foot forward.
Got it. Thank you.
Has anybody else experienced something like this? Caroline, John? Nope. Okay, well, I'm sure you will, because in today's market, this is happening every day. And you have agents out there actually throwing numbers. Well, if you come up 3,000, I'm sure we can make it happen. So don't do that. Be careful. I mean, I'm not stopping you from asking those questions. And if the listing agent actually replies, then that's on them. Right? I can't blame
Absolutely.
you for, I can't blame you as a buyer's agent for trying to get as much information as possible. But that might also trigger the listing agent to shut you out and like kind of not communicate as well with you. Does that make sense too?
Yes.
Freddie, so are you saying that we're already in like a best and final situation and you don't want to steer the cash buyer up? Are you saying they'd already submitted, everybody just submitted a contract and from that point on, you can do it?
Well,
other
you
words-
can counter. Okay, so now you've called for highest and best and everybody submitted their highest and best. You have 3 highest and best on 3 multiple offers, right? Everybody came in, they put their best foot forward. You can still counter. The seller does not have to accept any offers.
So if there's
Just
a-
because
if
you have
there's a-
multiple offers, the seller does not have to accept any offers,
so you
even if
could
they're
counter-
above asking price.
You could counter in writing, but you couldn't go back and ask them to come up to the asking price.
You can counter and, oh, well, you can, that's where Jeremy was asking, if you can ask them to come up to listing price. Yeah, I would say you can, just don't throw a number.
So can you just counter back? I mean, let's say you just received 3 offers. One of them's cash is 10,000 less than the other 2. You can't counter the first one in writing and just say counter at list price?
Oh, you
I
can
don't-
counter and say, you can counter and, oh, you're saying if you can counter that cash offer as, hey, can you come in at asking price?
No, I'm just saying I mean, you could call them, but if you just sent it back to them, would that be okay? If it's official counter
You
offer?
you can have the seller cross off their offer, put in asking price, change the actual offer, and then initial it and send it back. And
by
if the
Fred-
buyer initials is an acceptance.
Freddie, but when you say not with a number, you're saying, can you come up another $5,000? But if you give the actual amount, right, the list price is $495,000. Say, hey, if you guys can come up to $495,000, the list price, then, the seller told me they'd accept your offer. Is that something you're willing to do? Right?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure because you're like, well, don't throw out a number. And I'm like, well, list price is a number. I mean, but you're talking about come up another 5, another 10 or something. Don't throw out that number.
Correct.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
So it doesn't matter if they've already done best and final or not, or does it?
It doesn't matter if they've done highest and best, you can still counter highest and best. You can come back and take the best or you can counter all, you're not going to do another highest and best, but you can say, hey, the seller is considering accepting your offer. Would you mind changing this? It might not even be a price. It might be something on the terms. Like the seller needs more time to close, or the buyer needs more, or the seller wants less inspection days. So it's not always price. It's always, you got to look at all the terms on the offer. Because it's not always price that makes a seller's decision.
As long as we're not throwing a number out there, it's okay.
Yeah, I would definitely never, ever throw a number up.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's my personal, you can get yourself in trouble. All right, any other questions on this? So all of this information is available for you guys in floridarealtors.org. You all have an account. If you are a board member and you're paying your fees to your board and MLS, you are all part of Florida Realtors. This is a great avenue for information. You could just search things in here. And if you type in love letters, it'll come up, I think. No, actually not on this one, but Did it? I forgot how I searched it, but you can find a bunch of stuff. Yeah, here you go. So I typed in love letters, and this is what I came up with. Bunch of information in here. They also provide the legal hotline for you. You can call the legal hotline. Florida has a legal hotline where an attorney will actually answer the phone and answer your questions. And you guys have free access to that as well. And that's all available through your Florida Realtors Association membership. So at this time, we're coming up on our 45 minutes. I'm going to open it up for you guys. If you guys want to discuss anything in particular, anything on a certain transaction that's going on right now, you have any questions on a deal or a contract or anything at all, feel free to shoot it up or unmute yourself or throw it in the chat.
Shoot it up, everyone. Shoot it up.
Yeah, I have a question.
Oh, boy.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, what if a listing agent asks not to send the whole paperwork, the whole offer and paperwork, just an email shooting what the buyer wants to offer? What do we do in that case? Is that okay? Is that legal?
Well, you tell me, you're the buyer's agent and you want your offer accepted? What would you do? Would you just send them an email, or would you send everything already written up so that the listing agent make it easier on the listing agent? Because at the end of the day, they're gonna make you write it up, right? If they do
Yeah.
accept the offer. So why not do it right from the get-go?
Okay.
I would put the terms in the email. Hey, these are the quick terms, purchase price, escrow, inspection days, appraisal contingency, whatever it is. And then I would actually include the documents.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and then like what I've done as a listing agent, and I've had multiple offers, is I have a spreadsheet where I put in exactly what I just said. I put in all the terms and all the requests from the buyer or whatever it is on the offer. And I put it on a spreadsheet. And then instead of sending 10 contracts to the seller, I'm sending them the spreadsheet, and then I have a conversation with them. Hey, let's go through these offers.
Okay.
And I labeled everything out for you real easy. These are the terms. This is the purchase price. This is what they're asking for. This is what they want. And then we discuss it. And then actually we nail it down to 3 offers, and then we go from there. And then once you get that one, then you provide them with the contracts. That's how I do it in a multiple offer situation. But I would definitely write everything up, Caroline. Go through the steps, go through the motion, show the listing agent that, you guys are serious.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Has that happened? You had an agent say, hey, just shoot me an email with your offer?
It happens very often.
Okay. Yeah, I guess they're tired of receiving 15 contracts, and
Yeah.
so I have seen that. So yeah, I would do both. I would have the contract ready.
Yeah, I definitely write it up, because if you don't actually write it up, they're under no legal obligation to actually present the offer to their client.
That's a
Okay.
good point.
Oh, yeah, because they just can read the email and just ignore it or whatever. But if you have the contract, then they have that legal obligation. Okay. Okay.
That's a good point, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, anybody else?
No, I think we're good. Thank you
All
very
right.
much, Freddie, for everything. Great training today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Tomorrow, come join us down in Seminole if you're out and about. Summer events are coming. Family Appreciation Day coming. Look out for the announcements. We're having 2 venues, one out in Orlando and one out here by the Tampa area. So those announcements will be made by next week. So you can put them in your calendar, save the date. And that will be a family event hosted by HomeSmart. where you guys can come and join us. Hang out with the family and hang out with all our HomeSmart agents.
Oh,
And
nice,
BT
thank you.
And BT Dubs family just means our work family +1, +2. If you want to bring a friend, a family member, whatever the case may be, we're not saying if you don't have a family, you can't join us or anything like that. We just want to make sure that you know that there's other people that you can bring as well, a friend, another agent, a family member, a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister, cousin, that sort of thing.
Yeah, by family, we mean husband, wife, and kids.
Exactly, I was gonna say that.
Husband, wife, and kids, immediate family, okay?
Exactly.
So look out for the announcements. We're gonna be putting it out there. I'm trying to wrap this up by Friday. I should have both venues wrapped up, okay? And thanks, everybody. I'll give everybody back 10 minutes of their day today. Make it a great week.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.